Good morning students. Our new topic is isotopic transfer techniques. This is the fourth unit. So first we have to know the basics of isotopic transfer techniques, that are atom. So first, what is meant by atom? It is composed of positively charged nucleus and negatively charged electrons. So the number of orbital electrons is equal to the number of protons present in the nucleus. This is known as atomic number. The sum of the protons and neutrons called as mass number. So here atom is equal to atomic number and the mass number. So it is, atom is indicated by number of atomic numbers and the mass number. So here first we have to know what is meant by isotopes. So isotopes are with the same atomic number but difference in the mass number. So here isotopes are derived from the Greek word, that is iso means same and topes means place. So acquiring same place in the periodic table. So it is first spontaneously observed by the Henry Becquerel when uranyl sulfates are black in the photographic films. So he observed the production of radioactivity, and Sode says or explained or discovered the existence of the radioactive elements in 1913. So this is the history of the isotopes. So here the spontaneous degeneration of nucleus and transmission of one element to the another with the consequent emission of different rays or particles is known as radioactivity. Then, so first we have to know what is meant by radioactive isotopes. We have two types of isotopes, that are radioactive isotopes and stable isotopes. First I am going to say about radioactive isotopes. So radioactive isotopes is also called as radioisotopes or radionuclides of several species of same chemical elements that different in the mass number, whose the nucleus is unstable and dissipates the excess energy by spontaneously emitting radiation in the form of different rays, that are alpha, beta and also gamma rays. In the form of these three different rays, the radioactive elements can emit the different radiations in different wavelengths. Okay, that is called as radioisotopes or radioactive isotopes. So every chemical element has one or more radioactive isotopes. For example, if we take hydrogen, it is the lightest element. Lightest element has three isotope numbers with mass numbers 1, 2 and 3. So only hydrogen 3, that we called it as tritium, however is a radioactive isotope. The other two are stable forms. So we can more than 1000 radioactive elements of various elements are known by us. Okay, they are helium, tritium, palladium. So different types of 1000 various types of isotopes were observed here. Okay, then approximately 50 of these are found in nature. The rest are prepared by artificially by different scientists by using nuclear reaction or indirectly as the radioactive descendants of these products. So here these have many different applications in the medicine and different aspects like in food industries, and we can also treat different types of diseases like cancer. So in cancer we can remove some of the tumors which are responsible for the cancer, that can be removed by using these type of radioactive elements. Okay, then the other radioactive isotopes are used as the tracers for diagnostic purpose of different types of diseases, and it is also used in different researches in the diagnostic purposes, and also we can use it in the metabolic processes during ascension of some of the diseases like cancer and some of the pulmonary cancers, and also we can treat different types of diseases by using these radioactive elements. Then it is added in the small amounts to comparatively large quantities of stable elements. So it behaves at exactly the same of the ordinary isotopes, and these are chemically however be traced with Geiger counter. So Geiger counters. So in the next class, in the next section, I will say about Geiger-Müller counters. Okay. So iodine 131 has proved effective in treating hyperthyroidism, and we can treat different types of diseases like cancer also. Okay, not only cancer, we can diagnose different types of diseases that are come by viruses, like HIV can also be detected by different types of radioisotopes. Then another medically important radioactive isotope is carbon 14. So it is used to diagnose the bacteria which is present in the body of a human beings, and which can produces ulcers to the human beings. That bacteria is Helicobacter pylori. So in industries also we can use this material to know the thickness of some of the metals or some plastics and different types of materials like cloths. So their prices thickness indicates by the strength of the radiation that penetrate the material being inspected. Okay, this is about radioactive isotopes. Okay, so here radioactivity is the property exhibited by certain types of elements or the matter of emitting energy and subatomic particles spontaneously. It is essence an attribute to the individual's atomic nuclei. These will be help in human beings in different types of sources by helping in, if we use small amount of these radioactive elements, we can get the more beneficial for our livelihoods. Okay, the emission of this material, and this is the most common form of spontaneous radioactive decay, like alpha, beta and gamma, and also we will use neutrino. The alpha particles is actually the nucleus of helium 4 atom with the positive charges, having two positive charges. The next one is stable isotopes. So the stable isotopes are non-radioactive atoms. So we already studied about radioactive elements. Okay, radioactive isotopes, these are different, these are opposite from the stable isotopes. These stable isotopes are non-radioactive form of atoms, although they do not emit any radiations, but it will the specific properties enable them to use it in the broad variety of applications that we will use in the water management system, soil management system and environmental studies, and also we can assess the nutrition assessment studies of the forensic sciences. These different types of branches we can use these stable isotopes. So these the main difference is between the stable and radioactive isotopes emitting the radioactiveness. So radioactive elements can emit the radioactivity, but the stable isotopes do not produce the radioactive forms. Only the difference is that only, but the applications are same for both. So they will deal with different branches of applications. Okay, so here 8 of actually in the 82 elements, 8 of our periodic table have stable isotopes. So we have 82 elements, but within the 82, 8 are the stable isotopes, measuring and analyzing their distribution and allowed for many practical applications. So these are most important techniques, and this is used for the isotopic based techniques in such areas as hydrology and environmental studies, and we can also use it in the agriculture also. Okay, So these isotopes are used for measuring their amounts of proportions in the samples. For example, if we take the water, okay, so in how much amount of substances are present in that will be observed by using these stable isotopes. Okay, naturally occurring stable isotopes of water and the other substances are used to the trace original history source, and the interactions of water and also carbon and nitrogen cycles can be assessed by using these stable isotopes. So here it is used for the measuring their amounts of proportions in the samples like water. These are also used for the know the carbon stabilities of the organisms. So the next topic is radioactive decay. So before going to know about radioactive decay, we have to know first what is meant by radioactivity. Okay, so the stability of the isotope can be determined the ratios of neutrons and protons. So it can be assessed by the graphical representation. So if the element or the nucleus having both proton and neutron ratio is same, that is called as stable isotope. If the stability is not present, that means if the neutron amount is greater than proton or the proton number is greater than the neutron, then nucleus try to stabilize it by emitting some of the emission. So that emission is called as radioactivity, and that decayed particle or the emission, that is called as radioactive decay. So here we have to know what is meant by radioactivity. An unstable nucleus, that means unstable means what? Having one number, proton number are increased in number or the neutron number is increased. That means proton and neutron number is ratio is not equal. That is called as unstable nucleus. Will decompose spontaneously or decays into more stable configuration, but will do so only a few specific ways by emitting certain particles. So radioactive decay is the property of several naturally occurring elements as well as the artificially produced isotopes. So here the rate at which the radioactive elements decays is expressed in terms of half-life. So here half-life means what? The time required for the decomposition or the decaying of isotopes in one half of any given quantity, that is called as half-life. So basing upon the half-life, we can see the decay nature of the radioisotopes. So we have different types of radioactive decays, that are decay by negutron emission, positron emission, alpha particle emission, gamma rays emission, and also X-ray emissions. So these are different types of emissions. So here first I have to say about the decay by positron emission. So here proton is converted into neutron. Okay, so a positively charged beta particle is known as positron is formed or emitted. So here proton is converted into neutron. Okay, that is called as positron. Okay, then here positrons are extremely unstable and they despite their energy in the interaction with the electrons. Then decay by alpha particle emissions. So here isotopes of elements with a high atomic number and frequently decay by emitting alpha particles. So these having more affinity and more strength comparing to other emissions. So here the two molecules of protons and two molecules of neutrons are present here. So if increase or decrease, it will produces or it can produce 4 molecular weight and 2 atomic weight. So here alpha particles have high ionization power, less penetrance and are extremely toxic in nature. Okay, next one is electron capture. So protons captures an electron orbiting in the innermost shell. So here the protons, when interact with the electron, in the presence of neutron plus X-rays will be produced. So here a proton becomes a neutron and electromagnetic X-rays is given out. So here now we have to know, that is about radioactive. Now going to our topic, that is called rate of radioactive decay. So here we have to know the rate of radioactive decay. Here the decay rate of radioactive substance is characterized by the following constant quantities. That means here we have to take first half life. So half life means that is the time. Okay, so here T1/2 is taken as the half life. So and the next one is tau, is the average lifetime of the radioactive particle before going to decay. And the next one is constant, decay constant, that we indicate as lambda. It is the inverse the mean lifetime. Although these are constants, they are associated with the statistically random behavior of the population of the atoms. So there are also time variable quantities to consider. Okay, then there are also time variable quantities to consider. The total activity, that means A, is the number of decays per unit time of the radioactive samples. Here number of particles, that includes N. Okay, here specific activity means we will say SA, and the amount of substances can be mass or volume or samples, initial samples. Okay, so here next one is, we have to know, we can take some of the examples for the exponential decay. Here the law of radioactivity describes the statistical behavior of a large number of nucleates rather than the individual ones. So here we can take, okay, so here given a sample of particles, particular radioisotope that having the decay events, and we can express it in minus dn, expected to occur in a small interval of time. So we can call it as dt. Okay, is proportional to the number of atoms present. So here number of atoms indicates n, that is the exponential decay. So here a quantity is undergoing exponential decay. Large decay constants makes the quantity vanish and much more rapidly. So we can give this as the exponential plots and showing different constants like 25, 5, 1/5 and 1/24 for x from 0 to 5. So these are the sum of the fractional inductions, and in the next slide I am going to say about how the values can be indicated. So here n0 is the value of the n at the time. So here T is equal to 0. So SI units of radioactivity is the Becquerel. Okay, so here is the in honor of the scientist Henry Becquerel. So Henry Becquerel was the scientist who said about the radioactivity. Then he also gave the SI units, that is called as Becquerel. Okay, so it is first discovered by Curie. So it is called as 1 Curie. So Curie, 1 Curie is equal to 100 becquerels. Here 1 becquerel is defined as the transformation of decay. So and the degeneration per second. Okay, so this is the another unit of radioactivity is Curie. Okay, I already said Ci, which was originally defined as the amount of radium emanation in the equilibrium with 1 gram of pure radium. Okay, so here isotope Ra-226, at present it is equal by definition to the activity of any radionuclide decaying with disintegration rate of 3.7 into 10 to the power of 10 becquerels. Okay, So here 1 curie is equal to 3.7 into 10 power 10 BQ, that means becquerels. So here observe the equation how we will say the units of radioactive decay. So here dN by dt is equal to, that means dN by dt means we will say number of atoms decaying per small unit of time. Okay, so here N is the total number of radioactive atoms and lambda is the decay constant and T is the time. So here first dN by dt is equal to lambda. So here we will say the above equation means that lambda is the fraction of the radioactive atoms which decays different equationals may integrate the above differentiates into minus dN by dt is equal to lambda n. Okay, since we can say delta n by n is equal to minus lambda t. So carrying out integration between limits of n naught radioactive atoms existing originally and n radioactive atoms remaining after time t is equal to 1 integration n by n naught is equal to minus lambda t. So here log n is equal to minus lambda by 2.303 t plus log n naught. So here finally we got 0.693 is equal to lambda t half. Since we therefore we can say t half is equal to 0.693 lambda. So this is the rate of radioactive decay. This is the rate of radioactive decay. Thank you.